Okay, so problems like this we don't see very often, but I wanted you to notice the importance of trying to find a shortcut if there ever was a problem like this. There is a shortcut along the way. It is not going to be required for you to use the shortcut because I am not going to give you an exponent that is this high. You're not going to have to write it out 16 times. You could, if worse comes to worse, but we're not going to have to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to number 1. And what I'm doing, 2 times 2 times 2, well, repeated multiplication is where exponents came to begin with. So let's see if I get the same thing as just calling that 2 to the third power in the calculator. Let's test that. So 2 to the third power. Please notice I'm using parentheses. There's a reason for that. I do get the 8. So repeated multiplication is exponent, so that works. Now for the exponents, we add those 2 plus 2 plus 2. Well, repeated addition is just multiplication. I have 3 sets of 2. Well, 3 sets of 2, 3 times 2 is 6. See if that works for number 2. Let's see if I can just take the coefficient to the exponent. Let's see if that works. So 5 squared, which 5 squared is 5 times 5, so it should work. And it does. I get 25. Now let's see for the exponents if multiplication works. So I have 2 sets of 4. 2 times 4 is 8. It worked. I have 2 sets of 8. 2 times 8 is 16. So it checks off for that one. Let's check number 3. Let's try negative 3 to the fourth power. Now this is where you're really going to have to use parentheses in the calculator, because if you use parentheses in the calculator knows that yes, we are multiplying 3 times itself 4 times, but we are also multiplying the negative 4 times as well, and it works out. If you forget the parentheses, the calculator is going to give you a negative 81, because what the calculator is doing is it's multiplying the 3 4 times, but not the negative. It's doing that exponent and then it's just tacking the negative off to the end. So make sure you're using parentheses or you're just expanding it out just to double check. But it does work if we use parentheses. Negative 3 to the fourth power, right, is 81. Now let's check our multiplication. 4 sets of 4. 4 times 4 is 16. That works. Don't forget your invisible 1. I've got 4 sets of 1. 4 times 1 is 4. So it works. So I'm going to use that shortcut here. So I'm going to write it to the side. Shortcut. And this is optional. This is very, very optional. Okay. So we raise the coefficient to outside exponent. Y'all, I can't spell today. That's okay though. It's fixable. And we need to use parentheses in the calculator. Okay, so how I'm going to type this in the calculator, I'm going to do negative 2 to the 16th power, so the calculator knows that there's 16 negatives being multiplied as well as 16 2's being multiplied. And if there's an even number of negatives, they're all going to cancel out, and I'm going to have a positive 65,536. And then here, and I forgot to highlight my 16, so sorry. I have 16 sets of this thing. I'm going to have 16 sets of 4. 16 times 4 is 64. Total x's. I have 16 sets of 3 if I wrote this out 16 times. 16 times 3 is 48. So y to the 48. Now, I could expand that out 16 times and prove it to you, but I'm not going to do that. If you're that curious that my shortcut really works, you are welcome to do that. So again, the shortcut is optional. Most people will just choose to expand it out so they make less mistakes. I'm perfectly fine with that. If you are really comfortable with this shortcut, that's fine. Just please be extremely careful.